Spending the Sunday afternoon in Brick Lane is a great way to meet London cyclists among very few cars. Healthy, economic and green, cycling appeals to Londoners. And since 2000, according to Transport for London, the number of cycle journeys has doubled in the city. But the streets of London can be dangerous for bikers. It seems that 1 in 5 fatalities on the road is a two-wheel rider, even though they represent only 3% of total traffic. In the urban jungle, cyclists want to defend their territory. And some of them do it like this. This is critical mass, a swarm of cyclists who take the streets and block traffic to defend their right to the road. It all started in 1992 in San Francisco, and since then, the mass has spread to more than 300 cities across the world. London's is one of the oldest in Europe.
No, I met these crazy people also.
It's amazing to be in this huge mass of people who are all about the same thing and doing something that is fundamentally quite proactive and positive and vibrant and colourful.
Andrew is a sustainability consultant. He also works in a bike shop and has been a critical mass rider for 7 years.
Individuals in London are quite supportive of cycling, but the fact remains in terms of the physical space on the road that you're on the edge and you have to squeeze in next to other bigger vehicles. So in terms of the physical sense, yeah, marginalised. Culturally, yeah, probably still marginalised.
So is London only a city for motorists? Try riding from here to Baker Street to get a sense of what Andrew means by marginalised. Quentin lectures town planning at University College in London.
Well, from personal experience, I don't see it as being a very safe city for cyclists. From a professional point of view, I think there's a lot of historical issues to deal with in London in how the street system is organised, for example, and how automobile traffic has come into the city. So I think they're trying to slowly adjust the balance, but they certainly have a long way to go, and I think it still is very dangerous, and cyclists have to be very careful and at the same time very aggressive.
Dr. Stevens has published a book on alternative uses of public spaces.
And it's partly in the nature of critical mass that, in a way, pretending they're doing something harmless is the most effective way of doing something which actually has a real impact. If they were very directly confrontational, then the police would act against it. But what they're doing is harmless enough and fun enough. Well, I think they have different impacts depending on what the other users of the space are trying to do. I mean, my general impression of pedestrians is that they're often surprised and delighted by this very unexpected thing.
Fantastic.
An impressive sight, yeah.
And maybe also by the fact that the street is suddenly without cars and without all the noise and pollution. And instead there's the ringing bells and people juggling while they're riding their bicycles. So it sort of turns the street into something worth watching rather than something to be afraid of for pedestrians. Whereas obviously for car drivers, to have its effect, it has to be confrontational.
Critical mass has another distinct quality. It has no hierarchy. After asking a number of riders, we were finally given the name of the man who 13 years ago helped establish the movement in London.
We weren't like an organised group. It was just, there was a few of us, so we gave it this name, Charm, and we said we were going to do critical mass, and that was it, really. It's not a political act, really. It's just, you're just riding a bike. I mean, there can be political acts that happen within critical mass.
On the 14th of March, the critical mass movement backed the protest against the new Trident nuclear plant. On that occasion, they teamed up with Greenpeace.
We have been using the critical mass a few times in the past few years to support certain actions. Sometimes we just try to create as much havoc as possible. So we go from different angles, basically, and a lot of people in Greenpeace are part of critical mass.
No more weapons! No to Trident!
If you're blockading, if you have a rally, if you have something that with a specific area, for example, and you want to make the message as loud as possible, critical mass is a brilliant tool.